Hello students, myself is Parminder Singh from Prab Kripa classes. Our today's topic is web applications step by step guide. Today we will do part 3 of this topic. We have already uploaded two parts of this topic on this site. You can look out for the same. Today we will cover various questions such as what is the meaning of web server, what is meant by web browser, what is the meaning of web page, website, home page, web client, and what is the meaning of web address, what are the different parts of web address or URL, what is the meaning of email address, what do you mean by blog, what is the difference between blog and website, how we can create a blog account with WordPress, and how to add content to the blog. Now our topic is web server. Web servers are usually the computers which are set up in facilities called data centers. Every website resides in a web server. So we will discuss this web server in detail. It is a computer software and underlying hardware that accepts requests via HTTP or its secure variant HTTPS. Web servers are computers that are usually set up in facilities called data centers and operated by hosting companies. Now, what is the function of these web servers? The purpose of these computers is to store websites so that people can visit the sites on the internet. Every website sits on a computer known as a web server. Now, this is the important point. Server is always connected to the internet. In this picture, you can see that PC clients are connected to the web server via internet. At the most basic level, whenever a browser needs a file, the browser sends the request to the web server for file via HTTP. When the request reaches the correct hardware web server, the web server processes the request through its HTTP server. Then the server accepts the request which has been made by the web browser. Then the server finds the requested file or requested document in its storage space, and when it finds the file, the server sends the file back to the browser along also through HTTP. In this picture, you can see that the web browser has made the request to the web server for a particular file through internet, and web server upon finding the file sends the response, that is the desired document, to the web browser. It may also happen that the file the web browser has requested is not available or not traceable with the web server. Then this server returns a 404 response. It means that the file is not available. Sometimes 403 error may appear on your screen when you make a request for a particular file. It relates to the permission issues. That is, the file which we have requested is not permissible to us. We do not have the authority to access that file. Every web browser that is connected to the internet is given a unique address which is made up of a series of 4 numbers between 0 and 255. There may be a question in the exam that the web server which is connected to the internet is given a unique address. It is made up of how many numbers? Then the answer will be it is made up of a series of four numbers between 0 and 255, which are separated by periods. Periods means dots. For example, 68.177.156.131. And this is the another example of another unique address of a web server. There are many web servers available in the market. The web server may be free as well as some web servers may be paid. Some of them are Apache, HTTP server, then the another is Microsoft Internet Information Services, then other is Lighty, then other is Jigsaw server, and another is Sun Java system. Any computer can be turned into a web server by installing server software and connecting the machine to the internet. The basic purpose of a web server is to serve files as requested. If a web server is not exposed to the public and is used internally, then it is called internet server. A server can send the same file or different file to hundreds of users at the same time. It is not that if a web browser has sent a request to the web server for a particular file, that it cannot answer the another request made from another web browser for a different file. The web server can give a response to different web browsers at the same time to provide different files. Basically, web server is used to host websites, but there also exist other web servers such as gaming web server, storage web server, FTP, and email web server. Web server works as receive request from the client, that is the web browsers, generate response, and then send the response to the client. To have your website accessible online, you either need your own web server or web hosting, or you may take the facility of web server from web hosting companies. We may add that we have already uploaded many videos or lectures on YouTube, Google, our own website, and many other websites, which include how to manage stress in life, good communication skills, time management tips, most common mistakes in English grammar, future tense, past tense, and many other topics. You can look out for the same. Now our topic is web browser. All of us use web browsers, but we most of us do not know what is the meaning of web browser, because whenever we buy a computer or mobile phone to open any website or any other purposes, the facilities of these web browsers and other applications is already inbuilt or is already installed by the seller in the computers or mobile phones. So we normally do not have the knowledge or do not have to care about these application softwares. So let us learn more about web browser. A web browser is an application software for accessing websites. A web browser acts as interface between the user and the World Wide Web. Your browser communicates with the web server. You can see here that the web browser is communicating with web server to bring you information from the internet. When a URL is entered in a browser. That is the whenever we enter the web address in the web browser, the web server takes us to that website. The purpose of a web browser is to fetch the content from World Wide Web or from local storage and display it on a user's screen. Whenever you open the computer, you have to enter some address on the left hand upper side, and that particular address which you have to enter is called web address. You can have more than one browser on your computer at a time. Web servers communicate with many browsers on many computers all at the same time. It means that suppose one web browser has made the request to the web server. It is not that the web server will answer that web browser only. If there is another request from another web browser from some other file and some other web server from another file, then the web server will also at the same time give reply to other web browsers. So the web server is in a position communicate with many web browsers at the same time. Now comes what are the examples of web browsers? The most common used web browser is Google Chrome, and it has about 65% market share as per the information available with us. However, it may change with the passage of time. Apple's Safari browser, which was introduced in 2015, has 18% market share. Now, the Microsoft Edge, which is the default web browser on Windows 10 and 11 computers. Now, this is the Mozilla Firefox. This is the fourth most popular web browser, desktop browser. Browsers are used on a range of devices such as desktops, laptops, tablets, smartphones. In 2020, an estimated 4.9 billion people used a browser. During the course of browsing, cookies received from various websites are stored by the browser. Most browsers have common user interface features such as they allow the user to open multiple pages at the same time. You can see here plus point here also. This is the Microsoft browser. This is Google's browser. In the case of Microsoft Edge, you can see here that this is the plus point here. You can open more pages by clicking here. Another feature of most browser is back and fast and back and forward buttons. In the case of Google Chrome, backward button and forward buttons are there. But in the case of Microsoft Edge, only backward button is there and forward button is not there. These buttons are there to go back to the previous or forward pages as we have opened. Now there is another button which is called a refresh button. You can see here that this is the refresh button and this is the stop button to reload or cancel the loading of the current page. An address bar is there to input the URL of a page. You can see here that this bar is address bar. A web browser is not the same thing as a search engine, though the two are often confused. A search engine is a website that provides links to other websites. However, to connect to a website server and display its pages, a user must have a web browser installed. Examples of search engines are Google, Bing, Yahoo, and examples of web browsers which we have already discussed are Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, Apple Safari, etc. Web browsers are popular targets for hackers who exploit security holes to steal information, destroy files, and other malicious activities. Browser vendors regularly patch these security holes, so users are strongly encouraged to keep their browser software updated. Other protection measures which we can use are antivirus software and avoiding malicious websites. That is, we should not open those websites which appear to be malicious or which are known malicious websites or which normally open with HTTP because these are not secure websites. Now the topic before us is web page versus website. For the purpose of simplicity, we can compare a book with a website. As we can see that any book has many pages and any page we can open on our book. In the same way, the website consists of web pages. It means that whatever we open on computer, the page which is displayed before us is a web page, and collection of web pages constitutes the website. We will discuss the difference between web page and website in detail. Web page is a hypertext document on the World Wide Web and viewable by anyone connected to the internet having a web browser. That is, any person who is using the internet facility and also having web browser that can view the pages on the World Wide Web. A web page may contain text, graphics, video material, or a web page may also contain hyperlinks to other web pages and files. A web page could also be blank, that is, there may not be anything written on the same. Each web page is identified by a distinct URL. URL means Uniform Resource Locator. A website consists of many web pages linked together under a common domain name. Here we have used a word that a web page may contain hyperlinks. What is the meaning of hyperlinks? Hyperlink is also known as a link or web link. A hyperlink is an icon, word, graphic, or image that links to a new section or page within the website or to an external document or website. It is activated by clicking on it. Web page is a document commonly written in HTML. There may be question in the exam, what is the full form of HTML? The answer is hypertext markup language. Web page can be accessed by entering the URL on the address bar of the web browser. Whenever you open a website, you enter something in the address bar. A web page is often used to provide information to viewers including pictures, videos to help illustrate important topics. A web page may also be used as a method to sell products or services to viewers. Now, what is the meaning of website? Website may be written as in this way, or web separate and site may be written as separately. Website is a collection of web pages and related content that is identified by a common domain name and published on at least one web server. Examples of notable websites are google.com, amazon.com. All publicly accessible websites collectively constitute the World Wide Web. There are also private websites that can only be accessed on a private network, such as a company's internal website for its employees. Websites are typically dedicated to a particular topic or purpose, such as some websites may be related to news only, some websites may be education oriented, websites like Amazon, Flipkart are e-commerce websites. There may be some websites which are focused on entertainment and other are social networking websites. A website can be accessed directly by entering its URL address or by searching it on a search engine such as Google or Bing. For example, if you can search the name of any university, search the website of any university to get admission there, you can name the enter of the that university in Google search or Bing search, and the Google or Bing will search the name of the website for you. Users can access websites on a range of devices such as desktops, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. That is, you can access any website on your desktop, smartphone, or any other laptop. Now, we have differentiated web page and website in a tabular form. Web page is a single document on the internet, whereas website is a collection of many related web pages linked together under one domain. Web pages addresses of any specific website is directly dependent on the website address. Website address is independent of web page address. If a web page is deleted for any reason, the website will continue to work. But if we delete the website, all the web pages which were there in the website will stand deleted. In the case of web page, development requires less time. However, when we have to develop a website, it takes a long time. A web page usually contains content related to a single entity type. A website usually contains content related to different entities. For example, if we take the example of Amazon, if we click amazon.com, then we are shown the products related to different companies on a single page. The examples of web page are login page, sign up page, contact page, etc. And the examples of websites are amazon.com, quora.com, flipkart.com. Now home page. Home page can be written as this way or this way. It is the main web page or the introductory page of a website. It can help the viewer to find out what they can find on particular site. Good homepage design is usually high priority for a website. It is the most important page on any website. A poorly designed homepage can deter visitors from the site. So all the pages which are there on the website are web pages, but only one web page is home page. That is the introductory page is the home page. Now the meaning of web client. The client or user side of the web is called web client. It is an application that communicates with web server using HTTP. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It typically refers to the web browser in the user's machine that connects to the web server and retrieve web pages for display. Now, what is the meaning of email address? In the past, we used to send letters in physical form by going to the post office or going to the or to send letters through courier. Or now we are using computers for sending our mails or our thoughts, our opinions to other person. Email stands for electronic mail. An email address identifies an email box to which the messages are delivered. It is a paperless method of sending messages, notes, pictures, and even sound files from one place to another place through internet. Email address is made up of two parts. One is username and the another is domain name, which are separated by @ symbol. In this case, Prab Kirpa Classes is the username and gmail.com is the domain name. To create a personal email address, we have to create an account with an email provider of our choice, such as Gmail or yahoomail.com. Now the topic before us is parts of URL. Web address and URL is one and the same thing. Web address is also known as URL. URL means Uniform Resource Locator. Every page or file located on the web is assigned a unique web address. Web address is an internet address that represents the location of a specific web page, file, or document on the World Wide Web. We can say that it is just like our residential address. As our house has some specific location and it is in some specific address is given to our residential address, in the same way every page which is located on the web has its own address which is known as its web address. When you want to access a website, you just write a web address in a web browser. Today, there are over 70 billion web pages, and each one of these has a unique address. Unique address means URL, unique URL address. A URL never contains any space. Mostly, a URL is in lowercase. Lowercase means in lower letters. Although the letter case does not really matter in URL. Most of the URLs begin with http colon two slash. Some examples of URLs are https colon two slash www.youtube.com, and other URL pertains to Google, and this is the URL of our own website https colon two slash prabkirpaclasses.com. HTTPS is more secure and should be used at all times when secure data needs to be transferred, like in the case of logging into your bank's website, writing emails, sending files, etc. It means that if you are opening your bank's website, it is quite possible that the website before you starts with this bank name. You are having your bank account with ABC Bank and it is starting with HTTP. You should have the common sense, or you should immediately point out that this is not the safe protocol. It is not the secure site. It may be the bogus site. All the bank sites open with HTTPS because this is the safe site. All the sites which begin with HTTPS are safe. So whenever we are writing mails or opening some website, we should always see that it starts with HTTPS because it is more secure than HTTP. Now, what are the parts of web address or URL? There are four key parts, four main parts of URL. First is the name of the protocol. We have already discussed the meaning of protocol in our previous lectures. You can look out for the same. However, we can tell you that protocol means the rules and regulations which are used on the net for sending and receiving the files or other documents from web server or other web clients. Now, protocol name of the protocol is used to retrieve the document. The most common protocols are HTTP or HTTPS, with more attention being paid to online privacy and security today. The more secure HTTPS is becoming the dominant protocol on World Wide Web. Whenever you open a website, you can find that most of the time it starts with HTTPS. Now the another part of URL is domain name. A domain name is a unique name that identifies a website on the World Wide Web. It comes directly after the protocol and is separated by a colon and two forward slashes. It means that after this there will be colon and two slashes, and then will come the domain name. Organizations can use a domain name that corresponds to their name, helping internet users to reach them easily. We will find out the parts on our next page. Now, another part of web address is port number. The web address also requires a port number in order to be routed correctly. The port number is rarely visible in URLs but always required. You can see here that port number is not shown. If the no number is listed at the end of the address, the default port is based on the protocol in the web address. For example, the HTTP protocol uses port 80 by default, and HTTPS protocol uses port 443. There may be a question in the exam. What is the port number which is used in case of HTTP and HTTPS? So you can give the reply that port number is 80 in case of HTTP and port number is 443 in case of HTTPS protocol. Then the other part of web address is or URL is path. The path is the file path in the server, more commonly known as location of the file. You can see here that this is the protocol, this is the domain name, this is the port number, and this is the path of the file. In this case, you can see that this is the protocol, that is HTTPS. This is the domain name prabkirpaclasses.com, and this is the path. Here you do not find port number because it is not necessary that the same is visible in each and every case, but you can easily say that in the case of HTTPS the port number here used is 443. After the protocol, for the purpose of some more detail, we will discuss this URL in more detail. After protocol comes the famous www. You can see here that in some URLs you will not find it, as you have find in our previous page that in case of prabkirpaclasses.com www was not appearing. Then the name of the resource owner comes, that is then comes the domain name google.com, which is Google in this case. Owner's name is followed by the category in which the owner domain name is sorry, domain name is registered. You can find here that we are referring to this part .com. Whenever .com appears on any website, it may mean that the website is of commercial nature. There are a lot of other categories. For example, .org means organizational website, primarily used for non-profit websites such as charities, NGOs. If here it is written as .gov, then it is for government websites. If there it is written as .mil, it is used by military websites. .in says that the website has a connection with India. There are scores of such domains extensions. A website address can be obtained from a web hosting provider such as GoDaddy or any other designated internet domain registrar. Here you can, for the purpose of more illustration, we can say that www is subdomain. This is the domain name, and .com or .org or .edu, .gov or .mil, all these are referred as top level domain, and here it is the file path. Now we will differentiate between blog and website. Blog, it means a regularly updated website or web page, typically one run by an individual or small group, that is written in an informal or conversational style. Website is written in a formal way because we are to communicate with public, telling them about our activities or our products or services. But in the case of blog, we use the blogs to convey our personal opinions, to convey our thoughts. Suppose we have visited a particular country, a particular state, a religious place, or some hotel. We can write about our opinions, thoughts, or comments about that country, state, or religious place or particular hotel, wherever we have visited. We can write about the same in the shape of blog. It may often contain hyperlinks, videos, and photographs provided by you. The entries of a blog are known as posts. A person who writes a blog is known as blogger. Blogging is the act of posting content on a blog. Here you can see the blog of Bill Gates. Posts are typically displayed in a reverse chronological order. It means that most recent posts appear first at the top of the web page. It means that if suppose we have posted our comments now, that will appear first. The posts which we have posted on our blog earlier will appear downside. Many blogs provide commentary on a particular subject or topic, ranging from politics to sports. Most blogs are mostly textual, although some focus on art, photographs, videos, music, and audio. Blogs are usually managed using a web browser, and this requires active internet connection. You can also use offline blog software to create content first and later publish the content when an active internet connection is available. It means that if you want to post your contents on the blog, internet connection is not required if you are to simply write the same. But if you want to post it so that the general public can view the same, you have to must have an internet connection. However, you can write the same offline. Blogs are similar to an online personal diary. That is, one personal diary may be something which you may be maintaining in physical form, but blogs are like your personal diary which is online. That is, other people can see the same. But in case of physical personal diary, it is not open to public. There are some popular websites which offer free blog services such as WordPress, Weebly, Ghost, Blogger, Tumblr, Joomla. Now, what is the difference between blog and website? Blog can be defined as a personal diary on the internet of an individual or a company which is updated regularly in reverse chronological order with new information about particular topic. Each blog is a website, but not every website is a blog. On many websites, blogs are only a part of the website. Many websites do not have a blog. That it means that there may not be any blog in case of many websites. Every person has his or her own story to tell to the world. Through blogging, we can communicate with large number of people. Bloggers can also make money by having advertisements on their blog. For this, the route is advertisers, Google AdSense, bloggers. Now, how to create a blog account? We are just giving an example. WordPress is a free web service. We can use WordPress to create a beautiful website or blog. It comes with many features so that you can customize the design of the blog. Now, what are the steps which we have to follow to create a blog account in WordPress, these are as follows. First, you need a web browser and an internet connection. Web browser is already there in your computer. Now, what is required is active internet connection. Open the web browser. For example, there may be Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, or some other web browser like Apple Safari in your computer. Now you have to type the web address, that is the URL of WordPress, that which is www.wordpress.com in the address bar, and then click get started. The next page will appear on the monitor with different fields, which may be email address, username, password. Then email address, you must provide the valid email address. Username, you should choose a username for managing this blog. You should have a strong password for securing your WordPress blog account. After entering all these three fields, click on create your account. Now you have to mention blog address. It is used by the viewer to view your blog. After entering all this information, your blog is ready for use. Though it may appear to be somewhat confusing, but once you do it on the web browser using internet facility, you will find all this very simple. Adding content to the blog. Now, how to add content to the blog? Once you have created a blog, you have to submit content that you want others to view. Others, what you want to communicate, what are your views, what are your emotions you want to tell to the public. The process is called posting content. To create a post, click new post. Window similar to the one in the figure appears. You then second point is title. Here this is the title. You must provide a title for your post. Choose a title that this post will focus on. Suppose you have visited a particular country, you can say that my visit to USA. You can also, other example may be school annual day function 2021. You can type content that you want others to view. Here you are to write the content. Once you have finished typing content, in the content box, click publish button. Here this is given. To publish your content or post, to view your post, you can type the blog address in the address bar of the web browser. You can also add photos, videos, etc. to the blog using the options available in the WordPress. You can comment on the posts published by others. There may be another bloggers who have given their who have updated their posts or uploaded their posts. You can also give your comments on the posts of others. Usually the option is available towards the end of the post. For example, in the WordPress, the comment box is located below the post and labeled as leave a reply as shown in this picture. In the comment box, you are to give your comments. Then you have to mention your email address, your name, your website address or blog address is optional. Once you have typed the content in the comment area, review carefully and click on the post comment option. If you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.